Today, let's talk about Chungking Express, one of the many timeless classics written and directed by Wong Kar-wai, released in 1994. The film tells two stories of two policemen, following their breakups and new encounters. At first glance, the film appears to be a romance, speaking about heartbreaks and healing, but it is so much more. Against the backdrop of Hong Kong, Wong Kar-wai speaks of the subjectivity of time, how it can be used to reflect sentiments and emotions. He speaks of the push and pull between the need for genuine connections and the comfort in resting safely anonymous. He speaks of the irony and unpredictability that is life, where many things can only be clearer in hindsight. Time is a funny thing, and in Chungking Express, Wong Kar-wai plays with the concept of time, through which he reveals the character's state of mind, their sentiments, and even their different perspectives on life. A flipping clock is strategically placed throughout the first segment of the film, used to foreshadow impending change and signal pivotal moments. As with this particular type of clock, each passing minute is a new page. The set clock appears a total of 5 times, and in 4 out of the 5 instances, the clock is captured at minute 59, on the cusp of a new hour. It first appears after Cop 223 brushes past the mysterious woman, marking the beginning of a new encounter. Its second and third appearance comes after Cop 223 reminisces about his past relationship and actively sets a deadline for himself to move on, indicating a step forward in getting over his ex-girlfriend May. The fourth clock flip is the only instance where time goes from 0 to 1. This seems to involve the mysterious woman only, placed between her contemplation and her decision to act. This subtle difference in time perhaps hints at the different mental and emotional state of Cop 223 and the woman. He is trying to move past a previous relationship while still bound by it, whereas she is already a step ahead. The fifth and last time the clock appears, it is on Cop 223's birthday, where he receives a birthday message from the mysterious woman as the hour turns to 6 a.m., the exact moment he turns 25. This final flip of the clock marks a fresh start for Cop 223, a new year and a new outlook on life, where he is finally free from heartbreak. Expiration date is another concept of time that appears frequently throughout the film, where it is used to portray the character's different outlooks on love. In the very beginning, Cop 223 reveals he was broken up with on April Fool's Day, thinking it was a joke. Since then, he buys a can of pineapple expiring on May 1st every day for 30 days, only at the end of which will he accept the breakup as fact if May does not return. The period of 1 month seems to be the appropriate and socially acceptable amount of time for one to get over a breakup. For May has already found another. Even the owner of Midnight Express urges Cop 223 to move on, for it has already been a month. This short period of 30 days is a sharp contrast to the password for Cop 223's beeper, "Love you for 10,000 years," a sentiment so intense and profound that in reality should take only 30 days to get over. Perhaps Cop 223's ideology of everlasting love has become outdated in the modern-day society. Like he said, everything nowadays seems to have an expiration date. Wong Kar-wai further pushes this idea by specifically using expiration dates on canned food. Out of all the food items out there, canned food usually has the longest shelf life. This is perhaps the director's way of saying that no matter how hard one tries to preserve something, one day it will ultimately fade. At the very end of the story, Cop 223 says he'll remember the mysterious woman forever because of her birthday message, where despite the finite and fragile nature of human connections, memories one can choose to keep, and given an expiration date of 10,000 years. Chungking Express highlights the disconnect that prevails in city life, where individuals seek genuine connections whilst unable or unwilling to leave the solace found in their masked identities, leaving them to experience profound isolation in a crowded city. The 4 leads are all in one way or another bound by appearances created to please others, impacting their personal identities as well as their ability to form new and genuine connections. Cop 223 is broken up with because he has become less and less like a Japanese star, a superficial reason, no doubt, suggesting his ex-girlfriend was only attracted to a persona rather than the real him. However, despite no longer being with May, Cop 223 still tries to adhere to her ideology of him being a cool guy. He puts on an air of nonchalance on the phone while constantly checking for messages that never come. He quietly eats 30 cans of pineapple to mourn the end of his relationship. Cop 223 is undoubtedly lonely. His dog refuses to share his grief. The other May who fancies him has moved on. None of the 3 women he calls show up, unsurprisingly, since 2 of them he hasn't spoken to for years. The only invitation he receives for a jogging competition from a friend he rejects. For Cop 223, jogging is a private affair, synonymous to getting over heartbreak, a way to evaporate water in the body so that he's less likely to cry, because he's a cool guy. Ultimately, he approaches the mysterious woman at the bar, making awkward remarks and assumptions that reveal his loneliness and need for companionship more than anything else. It is only at the end of their stay in the hotel room does Cop 223 finally reveal a glimpse of his thoughtfulness and gentle quality, where he removes and washes the heels of the mysterious woman so that her legs don't swell and her shoes are clean.
Are you sure you want to do it?
Bridget Lynn's character is the most mysterious out of all. The film reveals almost nothing about her. No name, no past, not even her real appearance. She is seen wearing a raincoat, sunglasses, and a blonde wig throughout. The iconic blonde wig is more than just a disguise. It is also an important clue to understanding more about this ambiguous character. The said wig is worn by 3 different women. It first appears on a shop mannequin being carried past Cop 223, hinting at its representation of the ideal woman. It is also seen in the hands of the bartender, who puts it on a woman before he kisses her, revealing the blonde wig to be a preference of his. Although not explicitly shown, there are a few clues suggesting that a past relationship existed between him and the mysterious woman, and perhaps she wears the blonde wig to please him. For instance, in the beginning, when the bartender asks why doesn't she quit, she takes a drink and remains silent. She comes to his bar wearing a wig he likes. The meaningful look he gives her when she leaves all suggests that he himself is perhaps the answer. Later on, when she is asked what type of guy she likes, the scene cuts to the bartender, implying that he, again, is the answer. It is only at the very end, when she shoots the bartender for his betrayal, that she finally removes the wig, where she stops conforming to his ideal, relieving herself of his influence. The mysterious woman gives an explanation for the raincoat and sunglasses, for she doesn't know when it will rain and when it will be sunny. Although her choice of attire is to protect her against the unpredictability of the weather, the fact that she keeps them on even whilst indoors, at night, asleep, indicates these items are more than just a practicality. It is to shield her from the weather and everything else that is unpredictable. Unlike Cop 223, whose persona is Mr. Cool, Cop 663's identity is heavily defined by his occupation, where his name is not even given, only a police number. Maybe this is why, although both leads are cops, 223 is never shown in uniform, while 663 is rarely seen without. Like Cop 223, Cop 663 is also going through a breakup. An air hostess he seduced on a flight a year ago abruptly ends things, leaving him a cancelled plane ticket and his keys at Midnight Express. Cop 663 puts off taking the letter and holds it together on the surface. He jokes about being wounded by a pin and pretends nothing is the matter when asked if he's better. Yet, alone at home, he speaks to objects. He speaks to soap, to towel, to stuffed toys, and to the blouse left behind by his ex. His inner thoughts and emotions are only shared with these inanimate objects. Perhaps it is only with them he feels safe to be vulnerable. The day Cop 663 packs up the things left by his ex, he runs into her at the supermarket, both in casual clothing. She tells him she still thinks he looks better in uniform, suggesting that she was attracted to the idea of a policeman rather than the actual person beneath the uniform. Whereas when Faye returns, upon seeing Cop 663 dressed in a shirt, she tells him he looks good like that also. Faye appears to be the most carefree character out of the 4, but just like the others, she is also cautious of letting others in. She is attracted to Cop 663 but does not express her interest directly. Instead, she sneaks into his apartment to make improvements when he's not around, getting to know him through his surroundings, bit by bit, at a pace that is comfortable for her. Slowly, she starts leaving traces of her presence. A CD she likes, a photograph of her as a child, a paper plane flying out of his window. Perhaps she wants Cop 663 to realize it is her, after all. Faye is close to being discovered a few times, but continues to go. However, when she is finally caught, instead of owning up to her actions and accepting Cop 663, she chose to escape. Like Cop 663 said, some things need time to sink in. The subtle changes in his apartment has woken him up from the heartbreak of his past relationship, helping him to get ready for a new flight. Now, it is she who needs time to be ready to accept another into her life. Cop 663 opens Faye's letter after much debate and waits for her, When they meet again a year later, he tells her it takes time to get used to things. He waited because he understood. Faye's return as an air hostess suggests her attempt to embody what she believes appeals to Cop 663, fearing that he might not like her true self or consider her good enough, even though Cop 663's invitation for a date came before her departure, when she was simply being herself. Chungking Express perfectly presents the sentiment that life is uncertain. Perhaps the next stranger that brushes past will be a future lover. Perhaps a deadline given to another will become the expiration date of one's own life. Perhaps a character who appears for only a second will become the main lead in the next story. One can never know what will happen next. Such is the randomness and unpredictability that is life. Every single new relationship has a possibility of ending in another heartbreak. Yet, it doesn't stop people from seeking love and companionship. Such is the power and fragility of human connections. The cycle of coming together and drifting apart will continue, and who knows, the next stranger you brush past might just change your life.